Right then. I can't believe this is happening, mate.
Amazing, isn't it?
It actually does feel like that, like it just sort of went, even though there's been so much process involved. It's kind of weird that I'm about to drive this. We've been working on this, man. It's like a joint. It feels more than my car. You know, it feels very much a piece of Aston, a piece of HWM, all these crazy, the people involved in it. You know, I think it means so much more because I've literally witnessed the people create this thing. So hello, welcome back to the channel, and as the title of the video would suggest, today is a monumental moment as we are finally taking delivery of our first Aston Martin DBX. I shall explain further inside what I mean by our first massive project, but today we're going to take the keys and we're going to be speaking to Guy from HWM, who has been a massive part of this phenomenal project. All right, so here it is. Do you know what's amazing is how long have we been working on this for now?
Well, I was just thinking that. It's somewhere between 18 months and 2 years.
It really is about that long, isn't it?
It's over 18 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you haven't tuned in, just a quick backstory. We had the honour of partnering with HWM Aston Martin and Q Division by Aston Martin to have our sort of design input on a unique DBX, which ultimately led to us creating a production run of these cars.
Yep.
That means you can actually buy or order this car from this wonderful man called Guy here. And as Guy said, we've been working on this for so long. I've seen it in its various stages, and we even saw it in the previous video, which was applying the badges front and rear at the atrium in Gaydon.
Yep.
But there's something about handover day, which makes it final, real, taking the keys, and it being a road legal worthy car.
Completely agree. Seen it in the flesh, looking at all those decisions you've made digitally.
Yes.
And wondering if they're going to work or not in the skin. And then, yeah, just to see it all come together is an amazing moment.
Would you be able to help the audience with what Q is, really, in terms of what it offers? Because I've always explained it on a basic level as the options which aren't on the options list, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, so I think a really important part of this journey has been to show the sheer breadth of what you can do with Q. So, for example, Q can be a really small minor adjustment to a car. It can be a unique set of brake calipers, all the way through to a completely bespoke car itself.
Yes.
So what we really wanted to show with this journey is actually, if you are smart with your choices, think carefully about it, you can create a really beautiful car.
Yes.
Without making it a £500,000 vehicle or a multi-million-pound vehicle.
Sure.
It's just something that's beautiful and tailored, a bit like having a bespoke Savile Row suit made especially for you.
Thankfully, the first thing that hits you is the colour on this car. We were backwards and forwards for quite a while. One of the aims for me of this story was whenever the audience comes away from whatever chapter they've watched, be it developing the badge or the wheels or the paint, they come away going, I'm never going to look at that element again in the same way. Paint, I'm never going to look at paint again in the same way. It's science. It's actual scientific formulas to develop this. What's fantastic is it's based on the Valkyrie hypercar paint technology. And that's basically for me in order to highlight the sculpture of this car.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ability to modify it. So there we were, we chose a paint that was bluey green.
That's right, yes.
And then we had to try and explain to the paint technicians, no, we want it to be greener, darker, lighter. And through toing and throwing, we got exactly the shade that we wanted. But it takes time, doesn't it?
It takes a long time, yeah. And I think one thing as well, which I didn't realise, and I've said this a lot throughout this whole series, is it's not just, okay, let's make a colour and put it on a car. Then there's testing to make it a sort of homologated paint that's suitable for roadworthy abuse, really, isn't it? Will it stand the test of time?
Yes, yeah. And Aston Martin, therefore, anything that comes out of Q, they apply their warranty to. So it's something that they fully back from start to finish, but they've got to test it fully to be able to do that.
So when this journey started, because Aston, you know, they are fitting Alcantara to their other cars day in, day out, I just assumed we could have it in this car. Yeah. Turns out This is currently the only DBX that you can order with an Alcantara interior.
It is.
To get that over the line, as you said, has taken over 12 months.
Yep.
When you've started to research them and you look into a DBX without Alcantara, to see one with it in, changes the whole feel of the car. It's all of a sudden this quite sporty element, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, instantly, if you get in the car, you just feel, well, it changes the ambience, but you feel sort of plugged in. A DBX can corner really quickly. You know, when they tested it at the Nürburgring, it was cornering as quickly as Vantage.
That's amazing. Well, it's funny you should say that, because I remember driving the pre-production prototype, and that was out in Oman.
Yeah.
And I think I likened it to being like a Vantage on stilts.
Yes.
I mean, the chassis control of this thing is unreal. I think it's got the 48-volt anti-roll architecture in it. And you've got that higher center of gravity, but for some reason you turn it in and it doesn't have that movement that you have in pretty much every SUV. It's an incredible thing. And then I thought, this is a company which has Valkyrie, it has DBS, synonymous with high-performance sports cars, now have an F1 team. I wanted to bring some of that DNA inside the car. I just thought, okay, most synonymous material with this is Alcantara. It's taken us 12 months to get this. So I'm both proud and blown away that we've actually managed to achieve it, because it seems like such an easy tick box option, right?
Yeah, and the way it's sort of kitted out in the interior, just over the top of the dim binnacle, you've got Alcantara in your eye line, all the way up through the roof lining as well. So there's lots of Alcantara going on. It just feels brilliant.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But one of my favourite touches in here,
and I know you love it.
Oh,
I've
got a real thing for these. We've got these beautiful tan leather grab handles that go with the stitching, and they're just, again, it's just one of those lovely tailored bespoke touches, and it's really subtle. So kind of you just look around the cabin and then they catch your eye.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And there's other subtle bits. I love this knurled finish, this metal finish. So you touch it and it's real metal. It's not plastic. And so much time has gone into having that machined to look incredible.
So Aston told me, or shall I say Marek, last week told me,
Yep.
that that's a 3D printed sort of solid piece, and
Yep.
then they laser etch and engrave that texture onto it. So it is like a billet, beautiful
Feels amazing.
piece of engineering in there, and I think it's just a gorgeous thing. And you know, there are some details in here which we've actually held back from a client point of view, because when they get in it, I want them to discover all of this extra detail in there.
Yes.
And I think that's a really cool one. And as well as it also extends down there, so on the actual grab handle too, it's in there, which is cool. Yeah. One of the biggest things, I think the thing that I'm probably the most proud of on this, is the badge. The badge for me. So from the outside, you can see that copper stitch on the inside.
headrest, yeah.
We ended up tying that in with the fascia of the wheels. Early days, we're in the design studio with Miles Nürnberger, and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could just like match the badge with the overall theme of the car? And like the whole room took a deep breath and a step back, and they were like, what do you, no one messes with the badge.
This is the point where Miles went white all of a sudden.
Yeah. And I was like, what have I said? Have I offended someone? And I basically had. They were like, you don't understand, mate. It's like, this is a 108-year-old brand. We don't mess with the badge. It's like, this is like iteration after iteration of like careful, considered thinking. I don't know how we did it, but we managed to basically create an exclusive badge to match in with the theme of this car. And I think Marek summarized it quite well, in that what we've achieved with this badge is the equivalent of going to Chanel and asking them to flip the C's. He's like, it's that much of a deal. And I think when he sort of contextualized it like that, I was blown away that we'd actually got sign off on it. And as you see it now, when you line up with that sort of beautiful coppery blonde, bronze contrasting with the black, and look straight inside, it matches perfectly.
And it's all super subtle tweaks. So you've got the wheels, and then I love these little bronze Q badges as well on the side. It just,
all of this
just flows beautifully.
Now, one thing we haven't spoken about too much is that while this is our hero car, in that this has all of the options on which are part of our sort of design project over the last 12 months, we thought that it looks great and it stands out and it's a statement car, but these are going to fit into people's daily lives. And we pretty quickly acknowledge that while we've got some amazing options, people might want it in black.
Yeah. Yep.
So here's our black car. Now, I haven't really spoken about this that much, but essentially a very similar development process. All of the exclusive options which are available on this car are available on that car.
Yeah.
What I particularly like about our black paint is it actually has a bronze fleck in it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I don't know whether the camera picks that up, but again, the bronze details kind of draw that fleck out.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Against these wheels, the badge. We've got four specs really, haven't we, with 2 interior options.
Yes.
So you'll notice in this one, we have the Oxford tan.
Yeah.
So you could spec the green car with the Oxford tan interior, the black car with the black on black, and vice versa. This is our hero car because for me it all started around the Alcantara. But we thought, you know, this would look great against the copper tones, etc. So if you are interested in one, you were like, this is a bit bold, it's also available in black.
For sure. and you know, the other thing is green and tan is absolutely a thing.
Absolutely.
And we've definitely had customers who've said, yeah, that's going to be my combo. And so, yeah, we'll have some green and tan ones coming through as well.
Very, very cool. So yes, I think our next stage, because we have literally poured our heart and soul into the paint on each of these cars, we're going to take it over to MVN, and then we'll get it all protected and cleaned up, and then we're going to take it for its first adventure, its first drive. And I would really like to hear really from the audience, because a lot of people have followed this journey from Sketchbook.
Yeah.
And I think it would be great to get the audience input as to what they would like to see us do with the car first. Behold our engine bay. Guy, tell us a little bit about what separates this car from a lot of performance SUVs.
Fine. So yeah, so we're at the business end
Yes.
of the car here. So Aston Martin have 2 engines in their range. They have a V12 engine that is built in Cologne, and then they have this 4-litre V8, which is an AMG sourced engine, but it's to Aston Martin's specification. And actually it's a lightweight compact unit that they mount as far back as possible. So DBX has got fantastic dynamics, and where that starts is great weight distribution. So the engine mounted as far back and as low as possible for an SUV really matters. And this is a really punchy unit. So firstly, it's hand built, which is in keeping with the Aston Martin way, but it puts out as much torque as their V12 engine.
That's amazing.
So it really punches. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, 700
Yes.
newton meters of torque. So yeah, it's a great unit, and they put it in a wonderful chassis. So the great thing about this chassis and powertrain is that it is primarily rear-wheel drive, which is why, as lovers of sports cars, you drive it and you think, I feel at home here.
Yeah.
And in reality, when you turn up the wick, instead of it understeering massively, actually it's a really neutral chassis. It's a car that will even oversteer, frankly, in the right circumstances. It just feels beautifully balanced.
Right then. I can't believe this is happening, mate.
Amazing, isn't
It
it?
actually does feel like that, like it just sort of went, even though there's been so much process involved. We've been working on this, man. It's like a joint. It feels more than my car. You know, it feels very much a piece of Aston, a piece of HWM, all these crazy, the people involved in it. I think it means so much more because I've literally witnessed the people create this thing.
And all those details you agonise over and just seeing it all here in the metal.
It doesn't feel quite real yet, so thanks
will.
for everything. It's been very, very cool.
The moment you start it up. So there we go.
It's a key. Hey, it's a nice key too.
It's a beautiful key. Yeah.
Lovely.
I'll enjoy your sports exhaust as you drive off.
Absolutely, that's the point. Yeah. This is truly surreal. So, on the dash there, D for drive. This is so surreal. Honestly, it's ridiculous. Because it's, you've been building this thing, and it's also not just for me, it's built for other people. We've got clients who have inquired, bye Guy, thanks very much, all the way from Mexico City, and we've got a car that's going to Liverpool and all of these places, so pretty big deal. This is absolutely ridiculous so far, but I think this is always an interesting barometer of the interpretation of a car. The sidewalk reception, i.e. people's reactions to the car who are walking along the pavement, seem positive. I've had a thumbs up. I've had someone let me out at a junction by going, very nice. And yeah, it seems to be a somewhat of a subtle head turner, which is good. You know, it's got a little bit of bling about it, but nothing too ostentatious. What I really like, and what's been the sort of benchmark for this green, is that on an overcast day, which is the majority of the UK, it still looks green. I've experienced green cars in the past where on an overcast day, for whatever reason, the sort of technical makeup of it doesn't allow the paint to really pop, and it goes almost black when it's overcast or a bit darker, but this maintains its greenness. Here we are driving off in this car, and I'm telling you what, this is one of those days where your head hits the pillow at the end of the day and you go, yeah, that actually did happen. That's remarkable. So I'm a little bit annoyed at myself that I didn't just have that on film. I just came off the motorway using one of those sort of spiral junctions where it's a long sweeping turn. Honestly, the way this thing bends physics, the chassis, there's like no body. I don't know how they keep this amount of mass in check the way they do. It just doesn't roll. This whole Vantage on stilts thing, real. That's a real description. I'm not just sort of making it up to sort of draw comparisons to what it might be like. Legitimately, the way this thing handles is incredible. All right. This is a moment, isn't it? This is a moment. I've been dying to get it, and I think this is a bit of a personal, secretive thing, but I've been dying specifically to get our car in our light box. So for anyone just tuning in and going, where the hell is he right now? This is NVN London, a car care, paint protection film specialist place, but importantly, we detail cars here, and our lead detailer, Afa, is a crazy scientist when it comes to paint. So the next time you see this car, we're gonna get Afa all over this to see if what I've been banging on about for the last 12 months holds up to his standards. Importantly, we're gonna paint protection film the whole car. If you follow the journey, you'll know how much effort has gone into creating this bespoke paint, so we want to make sure that it stays looking like this for the longevity of the car. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to take it on its first drive, and once again, comments below, what should we do with this for its first drive? Up to you. So there we go, mind blown. I'm going to go and take a moment to just let all of this sink in, that we've got the first car finally here. As always, thank you so much for watching. We shall see you next time. Ciao.